Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the Jordan Luka 2. So this shoe has been leaked for actually like a couple months now, but it's finally available. If you're a Nike member, which is not hard to do, you just give them your email, then you can pretty much get member access and get them early, or you can get them coming soon. It's just coming soon for like a couple weeks, I think, but it's this colorway, right? And it retails for a whopping 130 bucks. So 130 bucks isn't that bad for the price, but they did increase the price from the previous signature shoe, the Luka ones, which were 110 bucks. So a $20 price increase is actually pretty crazy, especially since they didn't really upgrade the tech, it seems like, which sucks, right? So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. And in this colorway, this I don't know, I don't really like the color all too much, you know, this kind of like so it's basically a translucent outsole, right? The rubber is translucent, however it's already kind of like yellowed, which I don't like. That's one of the main reasons why I don't like translucent outsoles, is just the look, you know what I mean? Because it yellows. I don't like yellowing. I know a lot of you guys do, or some of you guys do, but for me, I don't really like it. Also, performance can, you know, differ as well, but the pattern looks very similar to the Luka one, which is very that's kind of like the only thing that they pretty much kept, right? As far as the design goes, we have a Jumpman logo here in the heel, and then in the forefoot we kind of have this like bluer, icier rubber, but still translucent. So how does the traction feel? The traction feels really good. Trying it on my wood floors right now, it seems to have a very good bite, and also a nice loud high-pitched squeak, just like the Luka ones. So yeah, hopefully it'll perform just like the Luka ones. You know, if it does, then it'll be a very good traction. I hope it doesn't pick up as much dust as the Luka one. The Luka one, it was pretty inconsistent for me, you know, on some courts, like on some 24-hour fitness courts, even if it was dusty, it would still bite through it pretty well. But then on some like LA Fitness or some other 24-hour fitness courts, it would, you know, it wouldn't be so good on dust. So it was a little bit inconsistent, but we'll have to see on the Luka 2s. And then as far as the durability goes, the durability actually seems pretty good. The rubber is quite hard, the grooves are pretty thick, and also the grooves are deep, it feels like. So durability seems like it'll be very good. So I'm very excited about the traction. It seems very good so far for my first impressions. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, it does also seem pretty damn good, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice, look at that. We have a nice curve shape right here. So we have a nice rocking motion in the heel. And then in the forefoot, we have a nice curve shape and a little bit of forefoot flex. You know what I mean? It's actually quite stiff, and it's just right here where I guess that's where like your big toe is, you know what I mean? So it's pretty, I'm putting a good amount of force into it, so it's not super flexible. And then in the midfoot, it doesn't flex at all, right? Just because it has the iso plate, which we'll get into, but that's of course, that's good for torsion support and stuff like that. So not super flexible, which it's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing. I think it's just more preference. You know, if you like a more flexible shoe, for example, like in the Kobe's, look at that. Super duper flexible versus the Luka 2s, which is a little bit more stiff. It just depends, you know. But overall, heel to toe transition has a nice rocking motion with the shape, so I do like that, and that does feel smooth. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So the cushioning setup is interesting. So they're using Formula 23 foam, right? And also they say they're using a foam carrier. And honestly, it's a little underwhelming. It feels pretty similar to the Luka ones, you know. So just feeling it with my finger, it's pretty stiff. You know, there's not a whole lot of compression. And then when you put it on, there's not a whole lot of. There's a little bit, you know, it's kind of soft, but it's not crazy. I do like how it's pretty much fully exposed, right? And then in the forefoot, it's pretty much dead as well. The court feel, I guess it does seem pretty good, but nothing amazing, right? And also like the insole's kind of right? It's not even that nice. There's a little bit of foam to it, you know, so it does improve the step and comfort just a tiny bit. But underneath that, we have a very stiff stroke board. It seems super glued down as well. So step and comfort also isn't great. So it'll probably feel like just a regular responsive cushioning setup like the Luka one was, you know what I mean? So nothing amazing, you know. I feel like, you know, that's what Luka likes, you know. He wants to feel responsive, he wants to feel quick, he doesn't want something too soft, you know, too mushy, and also he wants to be very quick, you know, on his first step and stuff. And he's not that fast though. Maybe that'll help, I don't know, as far as like the feeling goes. But yeah, also I guess he does like overall better court feel. But yeah, the cushioning, like the cushion has never really been good. You know, Luka 1, not that good. Luka 2 doesn't seem too good either. And Formula 23, I don't know why Jordan Brand keeps saying, oh, we got Formula 23, it's a new foam, but like they keep putting it in like a freaking carrier, which isn't very, very nice. It is very soft here though, on the medial side right here. This foam is actually pretty damn soft, right? But if you look, you know, once it gets to like the smooth texture, right, this part is actually kind of stiff. All right, so I don't really like the cushioning setup all too much, but it'll probably be just, you know, a good responsive cushioning setup, like good court feel, good responsiveness, and overall like adequate impact protection, right? So there's the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the materials. So the materials I don't like at all. They kind of took it like old school kind of, you know what I mean? So here in the toe box, like what is this? It's like a textile material kind of, right? But then it's heavily glued down. Look at it, it's pretty damn stiff. And then they're calling this kind of like a cage, right? You see this like, what is this, like a nubuck material? So it kind of goes into the toe box right here, right? And it goes all the way around on the lateral side and all the way around the heel and comes all the way into the medial side as well. So that's kind of like a cage, you know, gives you better support and stuff like that. But this part right here, when you're kind of like moving, you know, when you're kind of walking, it digs into the top of my foot a little bit. It doesn't hurt, it's just a little uncomfortable, right? I'm sure that'll break in very, very nicely, but I think this is a little overkill. I definitely do like the Flywire and the Luka ones a little bit better. You know, the Luka one, actually the material was pretty nice, you know what I mean? It was soft, it was thin, it was supportive. I think this is way too much. They glued it down hella, you know what I mean? And then they put all this extra material for more support, which I guess if you're a big dude and you need a lot of support, I mean, this will probably be a very, very supportive shoe. But for me, you know what I mean? Or just like your average Joe, I think this is like overkill in my personal opinion. But I guess, you know, like I said, if it's good support, that's not a bad thing, right? So there's that. And also here in the midfoot, it stays pretty damn stiff. Look at that. It's very, very stiff. Don't really like that all too much either. And as far as the eyelets go, the eyelets remind me a lot of the Curry 1 eyelets. You guys see that? So it's kind of like a tube. You know, they make kind of like a tube shape and the laces go through it. And also, we have a strap that goes down the tongue, which kind of keeps the tongue in place, right? And then for the tongue, we have a good amount of padding, especially here on top of it, which feels very, very nice and cozy. I do like that. And also, we have Luka's logo on top of the tongue. And then here in the ankle area, I would say there's pretty minimal padding on the sides, right? On the sides, pretty minimal. But when you get in the back of the shoe, right, where your Achilles is, it does actually get pretty well padded, which does feel nice. So the overall quality of the material, so the $20 price increase, right? $20 price increase. The tech is the same as far as the cushioning setup goes, and the materials feel actually worse in my personal opinion. So yeah, I mean, just look at that. What is this? It's not it. You know what I mean? In my personal opinion, I like a thinner, softer, you know, material in my personal opinion, and the quality isn't the best either. So yeah, there is the upper there. Moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size, you know, just because I don't know what it is. I feel like my foot, you know, I've been wearing those barefoot shoes a lot lately, you know, to strengthen my foot and my ankles and stuff like that. And I feel like my feet have been getting a little bit wider, right? So I wanted the shoe a little bit, you know, a little bit looser in fit. And actually these fit me pretty well. So there is definitely space lengthwise, right? So I feel like if I went true to size, the length would have been very, very good for me, right? So if you want a perfect length, true to size, you should be good to go, right? But here in the toe box, it is quite snug. It's a pretty snug fit. It's not super snug right now because obviously I went up half size, but I feel like if I went true to size, it would have been really, really snug. So just be careful with that. I feel like most people, if you want like a normal, like kind of snug fit, you should go up half a size if that's what you like. If you want a really snug fit, probably go true to size. But like I said, be careful with that. And the width-wise, I would say it's just like a normal width. Maybe slightly narrow. It does seem like it's squeezing the side of my foot just a tiny bit, but it's more on the normal side, right? So for me, going up half a size, it's actually a pretty good fit. And then here in the midfoot, it does stay pretty normal as well. So overall, it does fit me really good so far. All right, as far as support and lockdown goes, I feel like this shoe is gonna have you covered, right? So as far as lateral containment goes, so here in the forefoot, you don't really have a whole lot going on as far as lateral counters go, but like I said, this material is pretty glued down, it's super stiff. So yeah, I feel like you'll be good to go here in the forefoot. Also in the midfoot, we have this plastic piece, right? It's kind of like a boomerang shape, you know, kind of. But yeah, obviously that's a lateral counter, and that'll keep you inside of the footbed. And then here in the heel, we have, it seems like an internal TPU heel counter, like a pretty stiff, sturdy one. So lateral containment feels like it's gonna be good, and also lateral stability. Look at this, we have a nice outrigger. We have a wide base here in the forefoot, so it also seems like it's going to be good for lateral stability. And putting this shoe on, I didn't really feel like I had any type of heel slippage, and also I didn't put the laces through the last eyelid either. Right? I was just trying these on right now. I couldn't really like jump around or anything like crazy right now. You know, that's what I usually do when I first get in shoes, but I did just kind of get out of surgery. I'm recovering right now, so I can't really like jump around and stuff, but I did put these shoes on obviously, and I didn't really notice any type of heel slippage. It felt, you know, my foot felt pretty contained into the shoe. So support and lockdown feels like it's gonna be very good here in the Luka 2s, and it feels like it's gonna be a strong point, right? Now moving on to the weight. I feel like actually feels kind of light, on the lighter side of things compared to how it looks. I'm guessing like average weight, like 12, 13 ounces. Yeah, 13.15 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 12.85 ounces, so average maybe like 13 ounces, something like that. Just a little bit heavier than average. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. But yeah, this shoe doesn't feel super heavy or anything. It doesn't feel super bulky either. It's just, it feels stiff. I mean, and there's two elements to that, right? The stiff material, which I feel like it'll break in pretty nicely, you know? There's a little bit of pinching, like I said, as well, but it'll probably break in nicely, but I don't think it'll be as smooth as, you know, like a mesh or a nice textile that's not glued down. And also, like I said, it's pretty stiff here in the sole, right? Because probably of the ISO plate. So because of that, you know, not a huge fan right now, because in my personal opinion, I like to have a very flexible feeling shoe, you know, super flexible, or like in the Wild 10s where it has that full length carbon fiber plate and has a nice like springiness to it, you know, spring back. This just seems a little bit more stiff, you know what I mean? But either way, that's just how it feels. And as far as the aesthetics go, I kind of like it. There's some pretty dope colorways coming out. This colorway is actually pretty sick besides the outsole. Actually, is this glow in the dark? It actually might be glow in the dark. That's why it's this color. But still don't like it just because, like I said, I don't like the yellow look. But other than that, I do like the black and purple on the upper. And I do like the overall silhouette of the shoe as well. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, my first impressions are like, you know what I mean? I mean, it seems all right. You know, the cushion, the traction's pretty solid, it feels like, you know, materials, but it feels all right on foot, you know, especially, you know, it's like thin, it feels supportive, it's pinching a little bit, it's a little uncomfortable, but I feel like that'll break in and stuff like that. So my first impressions, I feel like are right now. I mean, it'll probably perform very similarly or pretty much the exact same as the Luka one, which is not a bad thing, but they increased the price by 20 bucks, which kind of sucks, right? But anyway, tell us your thoughts on the Luka 2 down in the comment section below, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.